guys, it's Andrew here with Darkhorse Motor Company, here with John Dahmer, one of the owners of Darkhorse. We were talking about our premium connecting rods in the last episode. We want to talk a little bit more about the rod pin bearing combination. I did post a nice segment on Instagram and Facebook about our proprietary connecting rod bearings. And I know that we've done a lot of R&D with it, but I don't know a lot of the details. So I'm gonna ask John here. Can you tell me a little bit more about our bearings?
I think it's bigger than our bearings.
I think it's bigger than our bearings, I guess.
Bearing rod kits as a whole.
Right.
We put a lot of R&D, like we talked about, into the connecting rod and the specs that we engineered into them, keeping the big end round, right? The bearings play into that. Of course, our crank pins also play into that. We manufacture all our own crank pins. That way we can control heat treat, grinding specs. We do some unique things. We have a step pin, of course, as you know, that we utilize in some of the rebuilding processes. But really, I think it comes down to the kit as a whole. The crank pin composition and how it's ground, and then, of course, the bearing and the special coating that's on the bearings. You can read a little bit about it as far as your last post.
Right. Now, do all bearings come with a black cage?
No. These are the only ones, to my knowledge, in the market. We buy these direct from the manufacturer, and work closely with them when they design that peak coating that is put on there. It's pretty cool, and it's been one of the keys to success here. So, like we had talked about in the past, no one pin bearing rod kit is essentially set the same. For the street stuff, as you know, we have a tighter tolerance, better for longevity. With the design of the connecting rod, we're able to keep the big end of the rod round longer, which exactly does that, right? In racing applications, what do? We set them up a little bit looser.
Yep.
Really, we have, about 4 different specs that we set up for, depending on compression, depending on RPM. I think we've talked about it in the past. We do all that King of the Baggers. Bottom ends. I mean, basically every King of the Baggers Harley bike that's out there
is running our bottom end.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
You mentioned all those little key components into setting up the rod pin bearing stack up. Now, we do have on our forum that we do have on our website, those questions are on there, and those are very, very important for us to get that kind of detail from you guys, because if we don't have that detail, we don't know how you're going to ride the bike, what you're going to be doing with the bike. And we won't be able to set it up to your specific application and make it last as long as it should. Yeah. So it's really important to have us get that information from you guys when you guys are sending information to us. So
that's what sets us apart. Right. I mean, everything is a one-off custom build. We have some stuff on the shelf, of course, so that we can basically sell it in a day. For your typical street guy, but that doesn't always happen, of course. And so we've been very blessed. Our employees are very sharp on that. We have what we call our Bible, right? That they work off of.
Yes, sir.
And all that information gets put into that. And they're very diligent on that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
it helps. It definitely helps when the information is there. It helps the process move very smoothly. So it's really, really handy. So,
So getting back to, you had talked about the pin rod bearing kit. Yeah. Of course, I think you might be able to hear, we manufacture our own crank pins. We're making them right now for M8 applications. This is no small feat, right? We don't heat treat in house, as you know. That would take a large army to do that. But I don't know if people know this. I mean, we destroy a handful of pins in every batch that we do. We do batches of essentially 500, heat treat and ground. And the depth of the hardness is very critical. And that's why we destroy those, so that we know how deep our hardness is going into the pin for longevity.
Which is critical for longevity, right?
Oh, it's huge. It's everything. Right. And so that's, again, why we manufacture them in-house. We have complete control over it. Our quality control is very stringent, and we've done very well. I mean, like I said, I think you can hear our DS30 Haas lathe that is making them now. It does. This is basically a raw pin. It'll go to heat treat, come back, ground.
Get ground. Yep.
And then we'll check it for specs, and then of course put it into our system as far as inventory. This material, the bearing material, and actually the hardened rod race is critical. Also, we did years of testing actually with these three components specifically to make sure that when it's released to the marketplace, it's a solid piece.
Right.
And we've been very blessed that we hit the home run with this combo, and looking forward to, of course, more and more.
So I see that we have the rods in front of us here for the M8s, and we do also offer the same connecting rod, similar connecting rod for the twin cams, as well as the bearings, right, John?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, same manufacturers on the bearings. Of course, we do the pins, and then we finish the rods here as you all know, right? So these are actually kits. We actually do these all summer long so that we're efficient when it comes to our building season, which is coming up basically in the next month or two. So we'll size the pin, the bearings, the rods all in advance. And that way, when it comes to assembly, they're out of the box and ready to go.
Excellent.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next time.